Hi everybody, sorry about Zoom class and everything. So I'm going to quickly go over all the things we would have talked about in class today, so you're caught up. So let me move to Zoom. Okay, so the big thing is to remember to post your discussion 3 for week 3 post. Basically, you're going to respond to any 2 quotes from the reading assignment. So you can respond to a quote from the introduction and chapter 4 or chapter 1 and chapter 3. Just choose 2 quotes from the readings and respond to them. Also, for those of you that saw I did grade your week 2 discussion post, I gave you all suggestions on how to improve. If you did not receive full credit, it was for a specific reason. I told you what it was you needed to do. Either you need to respond to 2 peers or you need to respond to 2 quotes. Go ahead and do that, and I will give you guys full credit. So if you're someone that didn't receive full credit for week 2's discussion posts, go ahead and correct it, resubmit, and I will give you the full credit for that once it is corrected. So we did talk about in Zoom during our first morning class a little bit about the West Moors. So I'm going to quickly talk about this. Okay, so the biggest thing where people are confused about how to refer to the 2 West Moors, I always like to refer to the author as Moore, and I refer to the other Wes as Wes. So just to distinguish the 2, the author, Moore, he's the one whose mother is Joy. His grandparents are immigrants from Jamaica. So we talked about that. In the first chapter, a pretty big event happens in his life. His father tragically dies, right, due to discrimination. They go to the hospital and they do not take care of him properly because he's a black man. So his father dies tragically due to discrimination and racism. And he does have a lot of support from his family. Now, the other Wes, he's the one whose mother's name is Mary, and she was a nurse trying to get her doctorate. She had to drop out of school, unfortunately, because she lost her Pell Grant. And so that kind of leads her to a life she doesn't really want. Like, she's working a lot of odd jobs as a nurse, and she is working a lot of hours for a lot less pay than she would if she was a doctor. And so she's not very home very often with Wes. Wes's father is alive, but he chooses not to be around. He's also an alcoholic. And his older brother, who's his only male role model, really, is Tony, and he's a drug dealer. So really both Wes's are kind of the men of the house. Moore has a little bit more support from his family, and Wes has a lot less support and struggles, right? Although there's some events that happen in chapter 4 that are going to show you that they could really have ended up both in the same place or in totally different places. But yeah, we talked a lot about the external factors that influence both of the Moors and their fate. Environment's a huge one, but also family. We'll talk more about this as we go along. I'm just going to really quickly talk about thesis statements. So let me go back. Okay, so I did post an assignment that I want you guys to do before class tomorrow. And that is a thesis statement that I want you guys to do. So really your thesis statement, you want to think of it as like the center of your paper. It is the central argument, right? And you always want to respond directly to the prompt. And I'm trying to help you develop a more sophisticated thesis statement so that you're not doing lists anymore. You know, I know the 3-prong essay is like a thing, 3 paragraphs, 3 points. I'm trying to get you guys out of that, although this is like 3 questions. But basically the prompt is asking you for 3 things. What is your mindset? How did it develop? And how is it going to either help you or hinder you in the future, right? So those are the 3 kind of things you're going to talk about. I did post a template to get you started. You do not have to use this, but if you want to try it out, totally support that. So I'm going to show you an example of how I would kind of build a thesis statement. So I'm going to plug the template here. So one of the things that I was saying, if I was going to write this paper, I would talk about how, you know, basically my parents' divorce was a really difficult thing for me to deal with. So maybe I'd say due to my family breaking apart, I developed a negative and fixed mindset. However, and I talked to you guys about mentorship. I had a mentor through a strong connection with my mentor. My mindset changed. And then furthermore, my mindset will help me in the future because I know how to ask for help when facing big obstacles. So that's kind of how I would form my thesis statement that I was going to talk about in my essay. So that's an example of kind of what you can do. So basically what I want you to do is post this before class tomorrow. It's just 5 points. That's really small. There's no wrong way to do it. Just post what you have as far as your thesis statement so far. We're going to do some workshopping tomorrow on them. So tomorrow we're going to do a Zoom meeting. We're going to do some workshopping. We might even talk a little bit about the book because we didn't get to talk about it today. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about essay structure. And then Wednesday we're going to talk about a little bit more about organization and MLA formatting. Oh, I'm also going to extend the essay due date. So it's not going to be due Friday anymore. It's going to be due next Tuesday. So I'm going to update that in a minute. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm sorry again about the Zoom meeting today. These things happen. All right, guys, have a good day. Bye.